Good Wednesday evening to you, courtside here at Canali Arena in Midtown Memphis, Tennessee, where this evening the Christian Brothers Buccaneers play host to the number 1 ranked Bellarmine Knights out of Bellarmine, Kentucky. Alongside Christian Brothers University former President Emeritus John Smorelli, I'm Tyler Springs here on the CBU Live Network. This, Doc, is going to be a very tough matchup. This Christian Brothers side has been playing better of late, 5-5 in the year, 2-2 now in conference play, and coming off a sturdy win against Mississippi College. But I don't think they've seen the likes of a number 1 team in this building for quite a while.
If you're going to be the best, you got to play the best, and this is an opportunity for CBU to see where they are in that barometer of the best. I mean, Bellarmine is a great university. It's been on the top 10 for lots of years, and so they've got a history of greatness. We'll see what we can do against them.
15th-year head coach Scott Davenport, 351 wins in his career at Bellarmine, faces off with first-year head coach John T. Riley in the Christian Brothers University men's basketball program. The starting lineups for these two sides. For the visiting side, it is Ben Wire, Alex Cook, Dylan Penn, C.J. Fleming, and Pedro Bradshaw in the starting 5 for Bellarmine, a team that averages on the season 87.2 points per game this year. As for CBU, they'll bring Brad Miller, Joshua Jackson, Mitchell Mays, Nick Deifel, and Darrell Lewis to the starting 5. They're averaging 63.6 points per contest on the season. Bellarmine undefeated at 7-0. They've only got 1 win this year by single digits. All the rest have been double digits. 71-69, they beat the number 13 ranked University of Indianapolis earlier this year. That's been their only challenge up to this point.
And CBU is coming off a great defensive effort, so we've got a high-powered offensive team against a pretty strong emphasis with defense. So we'll see what happens here, Tyler.
Joshua Jackson steps into the tip circle. He will jump things off against Alex Cook, and Cook wins possession for Bellarmine University, the number 1 ranked team in Division II. We are underway. Bellarmine working right to left on the floor here as we look at it from our broadcast vantage point, courtside in Canali Arena. Very quick passing by Bellarmine around the arc looking for an opening as Ben Wire comes to the right elbow with the basketball in hand. Feeds for Pedro Bradshaw, going to the foul line. Bradshaw back outside. Cook fakes a pass, now bounces inside for Bradshaw, lays it up on the floating shot from the left side and in for 2 for the first bucket of the ball game.
Very patient offensive series. They've moved the ball around, got a very easy shot.
This is a very long Bellarmine University team. They've got 9 players on the roster who stand at least 6'5" or over. Here's Darrell Lewis working on the left side on top of the NCAA logo outside the arc for Christian Brothers. Sends the senior guard Brad Miller to the right side, all the way to Nick Deifel. Here's Miller, steps into a left wing 3. Miller knocks it down, and Christian Brothers has the lead on Bellarmine, if only for a moment.
I'll take the moment. I will take the moment, Vic.
3-2 so far in the early going, a minute into the contest. Bellarmine wearing their maroons with white trim, CBU in their home whites with red trim. Bellarmine gets it to Dylan Penn, driving down the lane, top side, kicks it left side, 3-pointer on the way, ring it up for C.J. Fleming and put 3 on the board. A 5-3 lead now for Bellarmine as Fleming knocks it down from the left side. Brad Miller handling as he comes across the timeline for CBU. This Bellarmine side has made 52 3-pointers coming into this game on the season. Here's Lewis from the left side. Now Deifel. Nick Deifel dribbling into the right elbow, pulls up for 2, won't go. Off the front of the iron. Fleming the rebound for Bellarmine, feeding ahead for Dylan Penn. In transition, the trailer cutting to the rim is Alex Cook, and a quick timeout taken by John T. Riley. 18:06 to play here in the first half, and a quick timeout less than 2 minutes into the contest usually spells trouble.
Exactly. They've taken 3 shots. They made all 3. They've got 7 points. They showed they can pass the ball around. They showed they can run the floor, and they showed they got some size. And that's not a great combination. I'm sure our coach here is going to be having to explain that to our players. We'll see what happens next.
14 years at Gannon University for Coach Riley before coming here. He's seen a little bit. I mean, 5 NCAA tournament appearances, whatnot. But this is no question. This is a little different than your normal average Gulf South Conference team. No shade to the Gulf South as a league.
Exactly. And I guess you brought up the fact that they've played against Division I teams this year and played competitively against some Division I teams. So they must have some Division I players on this squad too.
That's a matter of fact. They have a couple of transfers from the Division I level on this squad, including Pedro Bradshaw in the starting lineup, who comes from Eastern Kentucky and Belmont previously. Bradshaw is the one who picks up the ball coming across the half-court line, handled by Darrell Lewis. Lewis will drop it off for Brad Miller. Miller will send it to the top for Lewis. The lanky Lewis feeds for Mitchell Mays. And now back to the outside, kick to the right corner for Deifel. Nick Deifel sends it top side. 3 on the way for Darrell Lewis. Bottoms up for Darrell.
It's a great equalizer in college basketball, that three-point shot, if he can continue to make it.
CBU back within 1 at 7-6, 17:38 to play here in the opening half as Bellarmine, the number 1 team in the country, swings it around the arc. Bradshaw hounded by the smaller Miller. On the switch, here's Cook, left alone for 2. Baseline jumper from the left side won't fall. Joshua Jackson claims the miss.
Well, that's a good sign, their first miss.
They have proven they are not immortal. Exactly. They are fallible. Up top to Miller. Back to the top of the key for Deifel. Now swung for Darrell Lewis. Kick to the right side for Nick Deifel, the Cincinnati, Ohio native. Back to Lewis at the top. And now Deifel along the sideline. 14 points per game, the leading scorer. Kick to Brad Miller. 3-pointer from straight away. Won't fall. Rebounded by Bradshaw. On the outlet pass, here's Dylan Penn ahead. Dropping it back for Bellarmine. Inside for Cook. Kick out. Dylan Penn to the right side. Dribbles into the right elbow. Looking for help. Bradshaw going to work on Joshua Jackson's stuff the feed. You called it right, Coach.
That's a travel. Yeah.
Alongside Dr. John Smorelli, President Emeritus of CBU, I'm Tyler Springs. We've got our first subs into the contest. Jacob Lyons checking in for the first time this evening, 6'6" forward who went 6 for 6 in the game against Mississippi College earlier this week, tying a season high with 14 points.
He's a good player. He's a very solid player out of Christian Brothers High School.
Lyons, a big body, going to work here from the high post. Will feed outside for Darrell Lewis. Lewis in the right wing. Sent to Nick Deifel, and around the screen comes Mitchell Mays. Mays about 10 feet out on the left side. Feeds for Miller. Miller going down the lane, challenged. Drops it off for Mays, going baseline from the left side. Lost the ball out of bounds, and I believe this is going to stay with CBU with 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Quick shot up here. Miller will inbound. Are they looking for a lob or are they looking for a jump shot? Nick Deifel fires for 3. Nick Deifel ring it up. Beauty. Good gracious, Nick Deifel from the outside. Quick trigger for a 9-7 CBU lead.
3 threes we've got, huh?
Fed ahead by Bellarmine here in the early going and swung around the arc for Alex Cook. Cook with 15.1 points per game. A little duck-in pass there. Couldn't quite find what he wanted. Cook gets the possession on the tip pass, and this will be a foul on Jacob Lyons, first of the game against Lyons. Ethan Claycomb into the game for the first time, and now we've got timeout on the floor with 16 minutes to play here in the first half. So far, so good. 9-7 the lead for CBU over Bellarmine. Back with more in a moment on the CBU Bucks Live Network. Out of the timeout with 16 minutes remaining here in the first half. Christian Brothers University leading number 1 Bellarmine 9-7. As Bellarmine gets the inbounds pass in the half-court set from the right sideline. Working in the middle, C.J. Fleming. Fleming feeds over to the right side for Parker Chitty. Chitty sends for Claycomb. Back to the left side and passed along by C.J. Fleming. Dylan Penn trying to work to the inside. 4 on the shot clock. Kicked outside. 3, 2. Contested shot up at the horn. Won't go. Rebound Nick Deifel.
Great defense on the part of CBU. Made him go all the way down to the shot clock and with not an effective shot.
Darrell Lewis gets it now in the front court for CBU. John T. Riley shouting, move it, move it, move the basketball. CBU feeding around the horn. This Christian Brothers team with 14.5 assists per game on the season. Lewis going down the side of the lane, called for steps, and they will turn the basketball over with a 2-point lead. Now checking in for the first time this game is Kobe Penny. Kobe spelled with a C, C-O-B-E.
Huh.
A new variation.
Yeah,
of
exactly.
Typical Kobe.
Never seen that one before, Tyler.
9-7 the lead for CBU. Here is Fleming in the lane. Shot put up with the right hand. Switching hands in midair was Dylan Penn, and he gets the game tied at 9-all. First points of the game for Dylan Penn. 15:01 remaining here in the first half. CBU trying to hand Bellarmine their first loss of the season. It's going to be tough. Brad Miller swings it around the horn. Cross-court pass now to Lewis. Lewis drops it off inside for Jacob Lyons. Great find inside for Jacob Lyons in the right low block, able to lay it in easily with the right hand. Bellarmine basketball into the front court. Claycomb will give it for Penn to handle. This ball moves very quickly from one pair of hands to another. Now a foul called away from the basketball, and I believe Bellarmine was one of the men dropping to the floor. Parker Chitty, I think, a little worse for wear after the contact, so the foul goes against CBU.
There's Dyfel, right? Yeah.
I believe that's right. 2 fouls so far on Christian Brothers, none on Bellarmine.
It's impressive watching the way they pass that ball. That's very, very good.
It does.
About as good as I've seen in Division II.
That ball collects no moss, I will tell you that much. Fed inside this time. Penn working on the low block, trying to post up against Dyfel. Penn with a turnaround. Dyfel says no, not today. 14 and a half minutes to play as Brad Miller works it up the floor. Right-hand dribble along the right sideline. Miller with a little bit of room, feeds it away for Mitchell Mays. Outside the arc still, now it goes for Darrell Lewis. Kicked over to the right side. 3 on the way. Brad Miller, too short. Rebound inside, Jacob Lyons. Fed to Mitchell Mays, can't lay it up and in.
Missed an easy one, that's too bad.
Rebound on the far side by Claycomb. Claycomb kicks to Meyer in transition. Kick back outside. Here's Dylan Penn. Cross-court pass. Parker Chitty holding on for a moment. Chitty into the lane. Trying to go up and under. Miller wouldn't let him do it. Pass knocked away. This
nice
time
defense.
fed ahead. Darrell Lewis almost lost it on the break. Now settles it down. 11-9 CBU with the advantage. And subs on coming in a moment for the Buccaneers. Mays on the back down. Mays kicks it outside. Dyfel a pull-up 3 in rhythm. Rattles it home. Nick Dyfel from three-point range, where he's only shooting 32% this year. Chitty inside bounce and a ball kicked by Nick Dyfel. Dyfel having a quick talk with Darrell Lewis, his teammate, trying to get him in gear. 14-9 the CBU lead. Nick Dyfel locked in right now.
Exactly.
Can't be anything less in a game like this.
We got 4 threes and a 2. Hopefully we get to hit the 3-point shooting.
13:25 remaining here in the first half. CBU on top 14-9. Fleming feeds for Penn. Penn keeps it outside. Fed back to the top. Here's Fleming. Now Meyer down low. Looking for a little bit of help. Lewis on the ball. Grabs it and gets the turnover for CBU. Dyfel in transition. Dyfel working to the right side. Draws the double. Kicks to Mitchell Mays. Swings it around the horn. Here's Lewis for 3. Knocks it down.
3.
CBU smoking hot from the three-point line right now. They are 5 of 7 from three-point range in the early going. 12:52 remaining. Here's another turnover. Dyfel strips it on the right side. Over to the offensive half. Lewis on the break. Bouncing inside, and now a kick ball called. This is going to stay CBU basketball. My goodness, the brothers are hot.
They are playing fantastic. And I think it's a great combination of three-point shooting and good defense. I mean, if you continue this for 40 minutes, you've got yourself a win here.
This team, 5 of 7 so far from the arc. They average 6 3-pointers made per game. Mitchell Mays will kick it outside. Dyfel for 3. This one's off the front side. The heat check. At least he put it up and gave it a shot. Rebounded by the Bellarmine Knights, the #1 team in the country. Fed over to the right side for Alex Cook. Cook got Jared Gassett in the air, and Gassett fouls him before he's able to go to the rack.
A little reach in. Yeah.
Jared Gassett giving up a little bit of size, though he's got certainly some more muscle on him than Alex Cook does. We'll see how that goes throughout the game. Mitchell Mays defending on Meyer. Strip pass.
Another steal.
Intercepted in the air by Darrell Lewis, using the length and the athleticism as well. 12:19 to go. CBU on top 17-9 over Bellarmine, the #1 team in the country. But there's a reason Bellarmine is this good. They're 7-0. They're going to give CBU a fight all night. Williams around the arc, fed to Dyfel. Now to Lewis. Lewis, top side, dribbling behind his back, 6 seconds to shoot. Feeds to Mitchell Mays. Mays on the baseline drive, floats it up, got it off the rim, tapped out rebound, goes to the hands of Bellarmine.
Mitch has missed a couple of little inside shots.
Cook on the trailer play to the rim, get the basket counted, and one coming on the blocking foul as well, called on CBU. We've got timeout coming on the floor with 11:49 to play here inside Canale Arena. So far, so good for CBU, but a three-point play potentially on the line here for Alex Cook upcoming after the timeout. This is Christian Bellarmine University basketball. The men lead number 1 Bellarmine 17-9 in the early going, 11:49 left in the first half. Out of the timeout with 11:49 remaining in the first half. Christian Brothers University on top 17-9 over the visiting number 1 Bellarmine Knights. Alongside Dr. John Smirelli, I'm Tyler Springs. Ball inbounded by Bellarmine. Pedro Bradshaw kicks it outside. 30-foot three-pointer knocked in. Holy smokes, the range for C.J. Fleming is almost unguardable.
That was an NBA range three-point. Great shot.
17-12, CBU still with the lead by 5. This is McKeel Watkins in the basketball for the first time over in the right wing. Feeds left side this time for Darrell Lewis, working to the top for Nick Deifel. Feeding in the right side this time. Inside, the cut to the basket by Lewis, and the feed from Mitchell Mays. What a move by Darrell Lewis through traffic in the lane, lays it up for 2.
Well played. Mitch Mays looked inside and saw the cut, and cutting Lewis, and it's it.
Inside lane, and the pseudo alley-oop as floating in the air, catching the pass and laying it in all in one motion was Alex Cook for Bellarmine. It's back to a 5-point game at 19-14. Cook has been almost unstoppable here in the early going for Bellarmine. He's got 4 points and looking very fluid. Lewis's pass, intended, I think, for Mitchell Mays. Deflected. Going on the break is C.J. Fleming to the rim. Won't go. Rebound put back by Pedro Bradshaw.
Unfortunate.
19-16. The lead can evaporate very quickly against the number 1 team.
Well, if the team that scores 80-plus points a game, they can score in bunches, and they're showing they can do that.
McKeel Watkins waves off Deifel, working to the left side of the arc. Watkins on top of the NCAA logo, feeds inside for Jared Gassett. Gassett on the back down, going with the inside turn, and a foul over the back called. Jared Gassett going to the free throw line, where he has been very strong this year. Jared Gassett with the free throw line, shooting twice. Gassett, if memory serves correctly, is 6 for 6 from the free throw line this year. 10 for 10, make it 11 for 11. Jared Gassett.
Looks good. Doesn't even touch rim.
Transfer from Claflin University in South Carolina. Well-traveled guy, previously at Lewisburg College and before that at Jackson State Community College. And CBU glad to have him contributing here. One more coming. This one a rare miss by Jared Gassett. And he grimaces as if in pain. Coming down the floor the other way is Bellarmine. Going right to the cup with a lay-in right there was Alex Cook, wasting no time in the fast break. 20-18, the CBU lead with 10:03 to play. Fed to the right wing for Brad Miller. Miller drops it in for Jacob Lyons. Lyons working on the back down. Lyons draws the double, and this is going to be steps called on Jacob Lyons. John T. Riley will send in Joshua Jackson to check out Jacob Lyons with 9:55 to play here in the first half.
Bellarmine we had an 8-point lead, Drew, and now it's 2 points.
8-point lead with 11:49 to play, and less than 2 minutes later, it's down to 2. 9:52 remaining here in the first half. Zipped inside for Dylan Penn. Penn on the back down, trying to go with a hook shot up and over from the left side of the lane. You don't see a 6'3" guy try that very often, but he tries it and gets it for the tie.
It's a friendly roll from the rim. Yep.
McKeel Watkins across the timeline for CBU down the right sideline. 9:34 to play in the first half. Nick Deifel gets it right sideline, reversed to the left sideline for Watkins. Coming to the top is Deifel receiving it, working it around the arc. CBU will bounce inside this time for Gassett. Gassett, cross-court pass, gets it to Watkins. Watkins stops on the foul line. Watkins hassled and has the ball taken away. Pass intended this time for Dylan Penn. In the backcourt, sent away. Fed for Cook. Cook. Over to Claycomb. And on the back down, here goes Chris Palomzobio. Fouled, and he'll go to the line for one. Palambizio, one of those transfers that we made an allusion to earlier in the broadcast, as Bellarmine does bring some D1 talent to this roster. Oakland University, the former home of Chris Palambizio, 6'7" senior out of Chesterton, Indiana. Steps to the free throw line, shooting two. First attempt, rattles home. This Bellarmine side shoots 80%, 81% if you want to round up from the free throw line this year.
What don't they do well?
Great question. Someone will find out.
Maybe you and I sit here. You called me coach once, and I think that's a good, I'm working at it. I'm working at it.
You're working your way into it. You
are.
are.
I got a new career here.
That's right. You very well may.
I'm working toward one, but
Palambizio second, knocked through.
This was beyond my skill set, though. This is figuring out this Bellarmine team is just it's incredible.
Well, apparently nobody else can either because they're 7-0.
Yeah, maybe others who've got more experience.
So the lead is now 22-20. Number one Bellarmine on top of Christian Brothers with 8:57 to play here in the first half. CBU led by as many as 8 earlier on. Fed to Brad Miller, top side. Miller, closely guarded by the larger Cook. Cook guarding the basketball. Fed inside now for Joshua Jackson. Puts up the shot, won't go. Rebounded by Ben Wire. Fed ahead in transition. Cook down low. Cook got a defender in the air, draws the foul. Great move by Cook to put Joshua Jackson in the air. And now with 8:35 to play, it'll be Cook to the free throw line. Alex Cook, by the way, entering this contest, 33 of 35 in his free throws this season.
Oh, okay.
Team leader in free throws made, and he's only missed twice, 94%.
It's incredible.
Not too bad.
It took him 7 seconds to go from one end to the other and get a good shot.
First free throw fed up by Cook and fed in. Cook is 6'7", 210 senior out of Louisville, Kentucky's Male High School. One more coming for Alex Cook. A very veteran bunch, this Bellarmine side, in addition to being extremely long with a wingspan. Second shot by Cook is fed in. 24-20 the lead for Bellarmine.
They certainly play a lot of players already. I mean,
They've gone very deep on the bench thus far. A benefit of having great depth.
They've got about 10 deep already.
Scott Davenport in year 15 is doing work on the recruiting trail to get more and more players in the program. Deifel has it on the right side for Christian Brothers. Deifel feeds left side, almost intercepted. Brad Miller pulls the trigger on a rainbow three. This one's going to be short. Rebound underneath, and now a foul called. This is going to be, I believe, a foul beneath the cup. Will it go on Darrell Lewis? No, it'll go actually on, I believe, Parker Chitty.
Yeah, 31, right? Yeah.
So this will be CBU basketball beneath the cup. Lewis will inbound from the left side of the goal. Deifel out there alongside Lyons, Miller, and Mays. Inbounded for Lyons just outside the three-point arc on a one-handed catch. Around the screen comes Nick Deifel, didn't have room to shoot. Deifel down the left side, stops his dribble, kicks the pass across for Lewis. Lewis, pull-ups for three. Lewis bottoms up. Darrell Lewis knocks down the triple, and it's back to a one-point game.
Great shot.
6 triples already on the evening for Christian Brothers here in the first half. They average 6 per game.
Let's hope that's not the end of them.
We'll find out soon. Fleming sends it to Penn. Inside for Wire. Ben Wire going one-on-one with Mitchell Mays. 6'7" Wire, 6'7" Mays. Wire wins the battle by lofting it up from inside the lane. Back to a three-point lead, 26-23 with 7.5 to play. Across the timeline comes Brad Miller, working past Fleming. Miller drops it off for Deifel. Top side for Mitchell Mays. Mays sends for Lewis. Darrell Lewis is going to be much needed this evening. Lewis on the attack. Lewis goes inside, little shot fake, and gets the defender on skates, puts in the jumper from the elbow. Great job by Lewis to get the game back within one at 26-25. 7:04 to play, and the basket cut. Lewis with a block from behind. They're going to call, I think, a goaltend here or a foul. Let's see, because Lewis got that ball, I think as it was still going up. I don't think you're going to get a video review here in
I
Division
don't
2.
No, I don't think so.
Unfortunately.
They can ask me when I walk up there and say,
You want to give them your opinion, Coach?
you'll be doing this by yourself if I give my opinion. So I guess I got to stay away from that.
7:01 to play here in the first half. A great block on the backside by Daryl Lewis, but I think it's going to actually count for points for Bellarmine with 7:01 to play here in the first half. Back in a moment here on CBU Bucks Live. Out of the timeout with 7:01 to play in the first half. Alongside Dr. John Smorelli, I'm Tyler Springs. This is CBU Bucks basketball on the CBU Live Network. It's a 28-25 lead. The Bucks trailing number 1 Bellarmine here in Canale Arena in Memphis, Tennessee. Mitchell Mays will inbound it for CBU as the Bucks work the basketball up the floor. Senior point guard Brad Miller going to be the one to ferry it through the timeline. Miller along the left sideline will lay it off for Daryl Lewis on a bounce pass. Lewis slides to the top for Mitchell Mays, now around the horn. Cutting to the basket is Lewis. Underneath, and the find from Nick Deifel gets the bucket for CBU. Back within a point at 28-27.
It's a great take advantage of Lewis's athleticism and his cutting ability to score.
CBU with 9 assists on 10 baskets this evening thus far. 6:32 to go here in the first half. Bellarmine with a basketball. They swing it right side for Ben Wire, one of their 2 leading scorers. Wire into the lane. The 6'7" Wire drops it off for 6'3" Dylan Penn. Behind the screen, here goes C.J. Fleming for 3, and he knocks it down from the left wing. 31-27 the lead for Bellarmine with 6:14 to play in the half. Brad Miller handling for CBU.
Fleming's got some range.
Daryl Lewis sends it around the screen. Nick Deifel has it right wing. Deifel over to Mitchell Mays, bunched up with Brad Miller on the left side. Poor spacing, and CBU turns it over. Bradshaw across the timeline. Bradshaw lays it off underneath, and the ducking pass slammed home with 2 hands by Alex Cook. An authoritative finish for Cook and a 6-point margin for Bellarmine with 5:51 to play here in the first half, and quickly a timeout taken by John T. Riley to try and stop the blood flow.
That took about 4 seconds to go from coast to coast and get a dunk, and that's not long passes. That's just bing, bing, bing. That's just great.
It's not even
that's great coaching.
7 seconds Mike D'Antoni Phoenix Suns offense. It's even quicker than that.
It's an incredible offense. It really is.
CBU right now is shooting 55.6% from the field, and they are losing by 6 points. Bellarmine is shooting 76% from the floor, 13 of 17. They are 3 of 4 from range. They are 4 of 4 from the free throw line.
This is when you shake your head and you just wonder, how do you beat this team? It's impressive so far. But
Bellarmine is a well-drilled shooting team, to be fair. This season shooting 56% from the floor, 41% from three-point range, and 80% from the free throw line, as we previously mentioned. You've been asking what they don't do well. I have yet to be able to find that out.
I have not found. They can shoot from 3. They can move the ball inside. They can run the floor.
They can do a lot. 5:45 remaining. Out of the timeout comes Brad Miller handling the basketball for CBU. Christian Brothers down 33-27. Ball tipped away from Mitchell Mays on a poor pass from Jacob Lyons. On the break goes Wire to the cup, lays it in softly with the right hand. Wire being 6'7" is nice, but he can also elevate. I mean, he barely needed to put his hand out in front of his body 6 inches to get that ball all the way up and in. 5:23 remaining here inside Canale Arena in the first half as Miller loses the handle on the right sideline, and it goes out of bounds into the Bellarmine bench.
Yeah, did we mention defensively they're pretty good too? We may have said that too.
A pretty good defensive team, holding teams to 59 points per game on the season. CBU's defense allowing 65 points per game this year. 5:18 to play here inside Canale Arena in the first half. Fleming coming through the Buccaneer logo at midcourt. Fleming will lay it off on Bradshaw over on the right side. To the top for Dylan Penn. Penn around a slight screen, going to the left.
Nice
going
move.
on the bounce, up to the cup, lays it up, won't go. Rebound, Joshua Jackson for CBU. Lewis down the right sideline. Zips a pass over to his left. Deifel has it now on the left wing. Over to Lewis, top side, feeding it around the arc. Brad Miller gets it, sends it right back to Deifel. You go, I go. Miller around the horn to the right side for Deifel. Deifel working on Bradshaw. Nick Deifel around the screen, gets the switch onto Wire. Deifel trying to give it away. Zip pass intercepted, going to the rim is Pedro Bradshaw, and Bradshaw lays it in for two. Timeout taken by John T. Riley with 4:32 remaining. Here in the first half, we've seen a succession of timeouts to try and stop the blood flow. But Dr. John, this is a different team.
It certainly is, and the steals that they make, if we cannot control the ball, and it's going to be a long game for us. It's going to be a very, very long game. And that's the issue right now. If they keep steals, and when they take a steal, they run it down the floor. They score. It's a very, very difficult team, and particularly we're a younger team. We haven't played together a lot, so we just can't lose our composure at this point. I think that's why Coach Riley is calling a timeout right now. Just don't lose your composure. Continue to play, and one basket at a time. You can't do any more than that. You can't get 10 points at a time.
24 converted field goals so far, make it 25 converted field goals, with the last one made by Bellarmine. And only collectively between these two sides, 14 rebounds. That's how good the shooting has been this evening thus far.
I mean, if you were Coach Riley under a normal situation, you'd say we're playing a great game.
Yes.
We're probably beating most teams in Division II.
You're playing an incredible game, shooting 55% from the floor. It happens to not be good enough.
Yes, exactly.
Since Bellarmine is shooting 75% from the floor at the present time. 4:32 to play here inside Canale Arena. CBU down 37-27 to number one Bellarmine. The CBU men working the ball up floor with the hands of Brad Miller on the basketball. Through the Buccaneer logo at midcourt he goes. Miller, the Cincinnati, Ohio native, feeds the top side for Darrell Lewis. Lewis one-on-one against C.J. Fleming, a shorter guard. Lewis gives it away for Nick Deifel to his right. Now to Miller. Miller, closely guarded, gives it back to Lewis, top side. Back to Miller over on the left. Trying to lob inside for Joshua Jackson. Gets the catch, but not cleanly. Deflected out of bounds. It'll stay CBU basketball with 5 seconds on the shot clock.
As you mentioned before, they're a very long team, and it's really tough to throw passes over them. Their length is difficult.
Nick Deifel going to be the inbounder here. Justin Betts has checked in on defense for the first time for Bellarmine. Fed to Brad Miller with 5, with 4. Miller dribbling in, cutting to the basket. Miller laves it up, floats it up, won't go. Got a good look at the cup, but couldn't get it to fall down. 4 minutes to play in the first half. Cook ahead, feeds back for Claycomb. Around the horn, weaved on the passing by Bellarmine. Now fed to Alex Cook in the lane. Cook kicks it outside. Betts on the inside, gives to Cook. Cutting to the rim, won't go. Rebound pulled in by Joshua Jackson for CBU. Great defensive possession that time. Got a little bit lucky on the miss by Alex Cook. He doesn't miss very often.
Exactly.
3:36 to play here in the first half. CBU on the attack. This is Lewis, fed inside. Jackson meets a stone wall in the form of Ben Wire, and a traveling call as Jackson shuffled the feet. 37-27 is the present score with 3:29 remaining. And we'll get a sub on coming for Bellarmine.
They just keep running different players in, Tyler. Just incredible what they do.
They have so far sent in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different players. Meanwhile, Christian Brothers University has only had the benefit of using 8 to this point in the contest.
Exactly. And they all seem to be effective in the same, built to the same mold, long and athletic, and it's impressive so far.
Well, you go down the rotation, and they've got 6 players in the rotation who are at least 6'5". Okay. Only Dylan Penn and C.J. Fleming, whose shooting and defense we've been impressed with, respectively, have been the guys who've been below that length. And that's really the length you need to be just basically average on defense without trying. I'm not saying you can play defense just merely by being 6'7", but Lord, it helps.
Oh, it certainly does.
It helps a ton.
Exactly.
This CBU side, a little bit overmatched at this moment, but certainly not anywhere out of the contest. CBU for the time, shooting 10 of 19 from the field. They are 6 of 10 from three-point land and 1 of 2 at the free throw line. Neither team has gone to the free throw line very often tonight. It's been a pretty cleanly played first half. By the way, coming up at halftime, we'll have an interview check-in with head coach Jesse Carmack of the women's basketball team here at CBU. They just finished a game against Henderson State, which they lost by 11, though it felt much more like a 1-point loss than an 11-point loss.
They played with a lot of heart. It was really good. They had a 3-point deficit there and with the ball, and they had opportunities to get back in that game. So I'm impressed by Jessie. She's just great first-year coach.
3.5 minutes to play in the first half. Bellarmine, number 1 in the country, gets the basketball, and they feed it into the offensive half, and now a foul quickly called as Justin Betts was dribbling in. This will go, I believe, against Daryl Lewis of Christian Brothers. 7 fouls now on CBU in the first half, just 2 thus far on Bellarmine. So to the free throw line, 4 attempts goes Justin Betts. Betts, 4 of 5 in his free throws this year, make it 5 of 6. One more coming for Justin Betts. This to make it a 12-point game. Missed it. Rebound, and now a whistle, I believe a violation called. This will go an over the back foul, you're right, on Ethan Claycomb. So a break for CBU, the 3rd foul of the half by Bellarmine.
That's only the 3rd foul. Can't believe it. We got 7.
Easy to keep your depth when you're not fouling.
Yeah, exactly.
In the backcourt, Daryl Lewis handling alongside Brad Miller. They work it up against pressure across the half-court line. Fed to the top for Mitchell Mays. Mays, the taped left wrist, holds the basketball securely in front of him. Now passes left side for Brad Miller. Mays trying to post up on the left side, couldn't find him. Deifel will swing it instead over to the right corner for Lewis. Around the arc it goes. Nick Deifel with a hand in his face, puts it on the deck. Driving baseline, kicks it back outside. Lewis feeds the right wing. Brad Miller with 2, with 1, has to put it up, and does not have enough time to get a shot off.
Just great defense on their part. They were all over.
CBU, to their credit, spent enough time with the basketball in their hands that they got an open look. It just so happened that there wasn't enough time left for them to shoot it.
There you go. It's 30 seconds that Bellarmine didn't have a chance to score.
That's right. And, I mean, in a sense, that's running the football,
you're right. Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's keeping the ball out of the hands of a talented offensive team. 38-27 is the lead for Bellarmine right now. 2:38 to play. Alex Cook kind of back down against Joshua Jackson. Up and under move, and he draws the harm from the high post. Tough break for Joshua Jackson because Cook stopped this dribble maybe midway through the lane, maybe closer to the high right elbow, and then went for the up and under move. You don't see the up and under from that far away from the basket very often. It's more done, I think, as a foul drawing play.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Cook knows where his bread gets buttered. It's at the free throw line. First shot good. 39-27, one more to make it 40-27.
Yeah, we had those 4 steals early in the first half, and then just to stop. That now they're taking better care of the ball right now.
Bellarmine on a 12-0 run since the 7:01 mark here in the first half. They lead at 40-27. Brad Miller into the front court for CBU. The Buccaneers down to the number 1 team in the country, 40-27. Miller drops it off left side atop the NCAA logo for Daryl Lewis. Fed by Mitchell Mays in the backdoor cut. Going to the basket was Deifel. Tried to lay it up with a nifty move. Couldn't get it to fall. Rebound Bellarmine in transition. Coming with it to the right side is Dylan Penn. Sent away to the left side on the weave, and now a foul called as Jacob Lyons was trying to handle Alex Cook. Lyons is listed at 6'6". Cook is listed at 6'7". I think there's more than an inch difference there.
Yeah, I would say so.
Lyons makes up for it a little bit in terms of bulk.
Bulk, exactly.
But Cook has been a monster thus far.
The way they move this ball around, Tyler, they had to pay you double for what you're calling this game. Boy,
I wish I got paid by the pass rate. I do not. That is not how this goes, unfortunately.
This is going fast.
Second free throw attempt by Alex Cook is up and through. Cook in this first half, 13 points for Bellarmine. Bellarmine continues to shoot 71% from the field here in the opening 20 minutes. Lewis across the timeline will drop it off for his senior point guard, Brad Miller. Miller gets to Lewis. Lewis along the arc right side finds Lyons. They swing it and reverse it to the left side. Now Lewis to the top, puts it on the deck, dribbling in left side, drop off pass inside down low for Mitchell Mays. And that breaks the drought. CBU with 29. Bellarmine still up big with 42. A minute 38 to play in the first half. Ball knocked away in the inside pass. Nearly intercepted by CBU, but Penn finds it inside and gets the foul call going to the rim. Tough break as CBU nearly intercepted that pass.
Exactly.
But the 6'3" Penn somehow able to see it through. So this is Dylan Penn to the free throw stripe, where he's 14 of 18 on the season, 77%. Jared Gassett to check in momentarily. 1:33 to play here in the first half. Mitchell Mays tying his shoe for a moment on the left low block, make it the right low block. Gave Penn a time to consider things.
Exactly.
Penn, first shot. Left iron, backboard and through. Lyons checks out. Gassett checks back in. 1:33 to play here in the first half. Parker Chitty receiving some instructions at half court from his head coach, Scott Davenport. Second free throw off target by Dylan Penn, rebounded by Jarrett Gassett, the newcomer for CBU. 43-29 the lead for Bellarmine. Nick Deifel with it, sends it over to Brad Miller. Gassett trying to post up down low on Alex Cook. The pass never got there by Brad Miller, deflected instead. Mitch Mays will try a three. This is off back iron. Rebound ripped down by Darrell Lewis. Can't get the ball up to the rim. He's fouled instead.
Great hustle by Lewis. Really great hustle.
Huge hustle by Darrell Lewis. The passing is so hard through this thicket of 6'7" arms. CBU can barely get one pass after another put together. And so it's a good job by Darrell Lewis to fight through and grab that rebound on his way to getting fouled. Lewis out of Gaithersburg, Maryland, from Pensacola State College. Last year at Pensacola State, 10.9 points per contest. First free throw attempt for Lewis. Rattles out. Darrell Lewis shooting just 41% on his free throws so far this season.
That's surprising for a good shooter like him, a good athlete like him. They shoot the free throws don't go.
If there is a weakness in Lewis's game, it might be that.
In the short shorts. Yep,
that's a personal opinion. That is true. 1:13 to play. Second free throw off target. Rebound down the court, and in less than 4 seconds, the layup by Alex Cook.
There you go. That's a missed free throw. 4 seconds later, they've got a basket.
Faster than a New York Yankees outfield relay right down the floor. 1 minute to play here inside Canale Arena. Deifel drops it off inside. Here's Tyler Haynes. Inside, and a nice reverse lane with the right hand from Tyler Haynes. The freshman forward just entering here in the closing moments of the first half. Able to put in one from underneath for two. Outside, Wire for three. This one's off target, snatched off the rim by Jarrett Gassett. 40 seconds to play in the half. Miller picks up his dribble in the backcourt and now gets it away for Darrell Lewis. 35 seconds remaining in the half. 20 on the shot clock right now. Deifel, top side for Lewis. Ball zipped to his right, back to Deifel, back to Lewis on the left side now. Lewis has decisions to make. Miller from the top side, Deifel for three. Nick Deifel, all wet from the right side. 45-34, 16 seconds remaining in the half as Bellarmine takes possession. They can hold for the final shot. Penn thought about going to the rim, drops it back instead. Fleming has it on top of the Buccaneer logo near midcourt. 5 seconds, 4 seconds. Penn for Fleming. Fleming from outside, three-pointer on the way, won't go. Rebound pulled in by Jarrett Gassett, and the horn sounds for the end of the first half. All things considered, it could have been much worse for CBU. They trail it at the half to the number one team in the country, Bellarmine, 45-34.
11-point game is an 11-point game. That's still a doable game. So it's coach has got to feel okay at this point in time. They played well. They haven't made a lot of mistakes. They're playing against a great team.
Stranger things have happened, without a doubt. We'll come back in a few moments with head coach Jesse Carmack of the Christian Brothers Buccaneers women's basketball team, and then rejoin with Dr. John Smirelli for the second half in about 15 minutes here on CBU Bucks Live. Bucks trail at the half, 45-34 against Bellarmine. Back on CBU Bucks Live here at the half, where the men's side is leading, or rather I should say trailing number 1 Bellarmine 45-34. We are joined by Christian Brothers University women's basketball coach Jesse Carmack. Jesse, thank you for giving us a little bit of your time.
Yeah, of course.
We know your squad dropped a tough one today against Henderson State. That game, going back and looking at it, I made some notes at halftime, and it looked like there was a change between the first quarter and the second quarter for your squad. What changed? What conversations were you having there early on? Because I think you guys lost the first quarter 22-11, but you won the second quarter 17-16 to give your guys a good vibe going into the half.
Yes, and I just told our kids that we needed to settle down. I told them that they were going to come out aggressive and pressure us, and I don't think that we were quite ready for it. We didn't think it was going to be that much. And Henderson State is a very good basketball team. They do a great job. They're long defensively and athletic. And so we just needed to settle down and just stay positive. I had to stay positive with this group because we saw it. Let's handle it. Let's make a couple adjustments. We started cutting to the rim, which really helped and opened up some things for us to be able to score. But, I mean, I'm proud of their efforts.
You end up losing that game by 11. It felt like a much closer loss than that one. In the second half especially, I think you guys really got within 3 at one point, I think as close as 3 before eventually Henderson State was able to stretch it back out. What did you think of the way the team played in the second half, particularly because you were only playing about 6 in that second half with only 1 bench player? The way they fought, just having fatigue settle in on them when they know the other side's getting rest and they're not. Yeah,
we talk so much about mental preparation and what are you telling yourself? Because your body can do a lot more. It's what your mind that stops you. And so we talk so much about that and so much about heart and effort. And we cut it to 3 with the basketball. Had an opportunity, and then it kind of got away from us and got to 12 real fast. Kind of kicking myself for not calling a timeout sooner to slow that down or maybe draw something up to give us a break because we did have the 2 medias in the fourth quarter. And we talk about those things. I talk to them all the time that I'm not going to call early timeouts. That way we can use them in the end and be able to draw stuff up because these kids actually do execute what I draw, which is very impressive for what they do. I'm proud of them. Much better effort than what we had on Sunday, and we just have to continue to battle and continue to believe.
2 more questions for head coach Jesse Carmack of the Christian Brothers University women's basketball team. You got the primary scoring in that game from both Lauren Taylor and Bren Lytle, and they've been go-to players certainly this year for you. In games like that one where you really could have used a third scorer and Taylor Williams came on into double figures late, are you trying to go more concentrated into those 2 players who are scoring? You're trying to spread it around to get Darcy Duran going a little bit or Taylor Williams? What's your thought when the game flow is going that way and it's really like 1 or 2 players scoring the basketball?
Yeah, we actually don't talk about how many shot attempts people need to get or who needs to score the basketball. We talk about transition and running our offense. And today we talked a lot about taking good shots. Earlier in the season, we're taking a lot of contested shots, and it just so happened a lot of them are falling. That's not the case anymore, especially when our legs are tired. And so I want to score out of our motion offense, and whether that's, getting to the rim, getting the ball inside, having people cut, rise for threes. We don't really talk about who needs to take the shot unless it's maybe a late shot clock situation. Lauren played her butt off today, and we tried to take advantage of some mismatches that she had, and I thought she did tremendous. I mean, yeah, there's a couple that roll in and out, but we needed that from her. And if we can just get, Darcy to shoot a little bit more, I wish she would. And I talk to her all the time, like, it's okay for you to shoot it.
It takes some time for a freshman like that to really feel comfortable, yeah?
Yes, it does. It does. And she's going to be great for this program. I'm so excited for her future, and she's bought in, and she's asked everything. She's done everything I've asked her to do.
I don't look at you and see Jim Boeheim, but you've gone to a 2-3 zone a lot so far this year, and that's, I think, partially out of necessity to keep the kids a little bit more rested. When you're teaching that and you're keeping that kind of as what I've seen in the couple of games that I've done, one of your primary defensive looks, what's hard about that, and how do you think the kids are doing with it?
Yeah, it is tough. I didn't ever think I'd be a zone coach. I've always grown up man-to-man, preached man-to-man. I've played man-to-man.
Amen.
I'm a man-to-man coach, but with this group that I have, we can't match up 1 through 5 a lot. And we got some size, and they need to take up space. And so our zone is kind of a matchup zone. We always want to try to be guarding somebody. Ideally, if we can guard 2 people at one time, that would be great. And so we talk about just angles and opportunities, and we talk about the opposing team's zone offense a lot, and how do we exploit it, and how do we defend it. And then a big thing that we talk about is player personnel. If you don't have a 3-point shooter, you don't need to come out as far. Who do we need to contest more? And so we don't do a lot of zone breakdown drills, to be honest. I talk so much about 1v1 defense, and then we just happen to be in a zone, and I just say, this is your area.
That sounds simple, but I know it's much harder in principle to execute. Any notes on your squad going into this Christmas holiday? I mean, you guys have one more game coming up against Lee, right?
Yeah, and Lee's very good. I mean, they're a very good team. They're coming off of a loss versus Valdosta. It was a great game to watch. Our team actually watched it last night over dinner. I'm excited. It's a great opportunity to play another really good team. Lee's, top 5 team in the country right now, and they're well coached. And I've got to know of Marty a little bit because he used to be an assistant for John Riley, our men's coach. And I'm just excited for an opportunity to play again. As many times that we can get together and play and compete and learn. This is a process, and I have to remind myself that it's a process taking over this program. And the kids have bought in, and they're doing what I asked them to do, and that's all I can say about it. They're tremendous. They drive me nuts, and they make me laugh at the same time.
Amen to that. Hopefully a little more than making you laugh than the driving you nuts.
Yes, yes, for sure.
That is head coach Jesse Carmack of the Christian Brothers University women's basketball team joining us here on the halftime show as the Christian Brothers men trail Bellarmine 45-34 at the half. We'll come back with more in a moment on the CBU Bucks Live Network from Canale Arena. We are back at halftime on the CBU Bucks Live Network alongside Dr. John Smarelli. I'm Tyler Springs. Christian Brothers University trailing number 1 Bellarmine by a 45-34 count at this present time. Leading scorer in the first half for the Christian Brothers University Buccaneers, Darrell Lewis with 15 points. He was 6 of 6 from the field, including a 3 of 3 mark from three-point land. And for Bellarmine, Alex Cook had 16 points, 5 of 7 shooting, 6 of 6 from the free throw line. Dr. John, what stood out to you about that first half, other than the fact that Bellarmine is whip smart and works the basketball around quickly?
I think Coach Riley would be happy with the performance against any other team. I think we've done a lot of good things this first half. I thought it's been a very, very successful first half. We didn't panic. We're just playing against a great team with 10 players out there who all can play the game and play it effectively. So I think this first 5 minutes of the second half will determine whether it's going to be a blowout or whether we're going to stay here and stay competitive. 11 points is not a major number for a team, but against a team like Bellarmine, we've got to really start the second half very strong.
Now, one thing to note going into this second half, Bellarmine still hold 3 timeouts in their pockets because Christian Brothers tried to slow down the game a little bit in that first half.
Exactly.
John T. Riley has only 1 timeout other than the media timeouts to use going into this second half.
Sure. So we've got to perform on the floor. Our senior members have got to perform on the floor.
Darrell Lewis will get the basketball left side in the inbounds play. First possession of the second half. Inside basket cut by Nick Deifel, knocked off his hands off the rim underneath and rebounded by Dylan Penn for Bellarmine. Fed underneath for Pedro Bradshaw. Bradshaw lays it up and in from the right side. First points of the second half for Bradshaw and Bellarmine.
In 7 seconds from the turnover.
They are quick, if nothing else, and they are a lot else. 47-34 with 19:28 to play here in the second half. Just beginning the second 20 here inside Canale Arena in Midtown Memphis, Tennessee. Fed to the top for Mitchell Mays, around the horn left side for Nick Deifel. Deifel sends it top side for Joshua Jackson. Jackson almost picked up the pivot foot, gives it away instead for Darrell Lewis. Lewis pulls the trigger for 3. This one's his first miss.
Ooh.
Rebound coming in was Joshua Jackson. Couldn't get that one to go down.
That's great hustle by Jackson. Just should have gone down.
C.J. Fleming working it the other way. Fleming feeds inside this time for Dylan Penn. Penn trying to post up. The turnaround works against against Darrell Lewis this time. And Dylan Penn picking up some baskets for Bellarmine makes it a 49-34 lead. A timeout called 1 minute and 4 seconds into the second half. So there will be no more clock stoppages for CBU after John Riley slaps the clipboard on the ground.
I think Coach Riley was thinking exactly what I was saying before. He just cannot start the second half with a major run by Bellarmine. If they score 15 or 16 in a row, which they're capable of doing, they did the first half. This game is toast, and we just put subs in, and you and I have a conversation about college basketball.
And we can certainly do that, though I prefer not to. No offense to you.
No, of course.
But this would be a much more entertaining contest if the second half does not get away from CBU, as it very well could.
Exactly. We're 15 points now, and you've got to do something. I mean, you've got to do something different, and whether it's holding the ball longer, and whether it's I don't know what else we can say. Again, I'm not a coach. So what do you say at this point in time?
CBU on the season entering this contest were actually a much better second half team than they were in the first half. 364 to 339 is what they were outscoring folks by in the second half. They were outscored in the first half 313 to 272.
There you go.
So that may not mean anything in the long run, but you've got to hold on to it this moment.
We've got to be optimistic.
That's
That's why we're here. We're optimistic about it all, and I'm sure Coach Riley is optimistic.
Doing his best, doing his darndest. Out of the timeout with 18:56 remaining here in the second half. Nick Deifel gets the basketball. It'll be Deifel handling the ball up court. This is a little different from the Brad Miller shepherding we saw in the first half. Miller sent it to Deifel left side. Deifel on the dribble. Wanted to pull up, didn't have time. Pass deflected off the hands of Dylan Penn, out of bounds this time. Deifel will inbound in front of the CBU bench. Deifel finds Brad Miller. Miller finds Lewis behind a screen. Darrell Lewis with a jab step, gives it back to Miller. Miller puts it on the deck right side. 7 seconds. Bouncing inside for Lewis. Lewis comes away with the basketball with 4 seconds, with 3 seconds. It's still loose on the deck, and now a tie-up called with 2 seconds, I think. Or is this going to be a foul? The possession arrow will favor Bellarmine, and it will stay Knights basketball. A towel is needed as there is a wet spot on the floor over outside the right part of the lane. A little foot mop applied. No, it's the hand mop this time.
We've had a conversation about this.
That's
we
right.
Still haven't gotten somebody to volunteer to do this.
We have not. Paging all.
That may be my next job. I mean,
You never know.
If this broadcast thing doesn't work.
Paging all college students on break.
Exactly.
Right? If you want to make a couple extra bucks for your
Yeah.
Christmas gifts, you can come off the floor mid-game at Canale Arena. 18-18 to play in the second half. Alex Cook banging in down the right side of the lane against
nice
Joshua
steal.
Jackson.
Beautiful
Interception
steal.
by Darrell Lewis. Lewis on the move down floor, drops it off for Brad Miller. Lewis outside the arc. Lewis slashing between defenders, drops it off underneath for Joshua Jackson, and Jackson cannot collect. Goes off of his fingertips, out of bounds through the baseline.
That was a great steal, a great opportunity for us. Just didn't come.
34 for CBU, 49 for Bellarmine, the number 1 ranked team in the country. Fleming has it over on the right side of the arc, sends to Cook, now fed to Penn, and Ben Wire. Wire has yet to get going from three-point land. He's got the team lead in three-pointers made this year with 18. Fed back to the outside for Penn, around the horn. Dylan Penn will try an open look at a three. Left-handed shot won't go. Rebound on the weak side by Pedro Bradshaw. Bradshaw was not walled off by Nick Deifel, and that was a problem.
That's exactly.
34-51.
It's those fundamentals that always get in the way.
CBU has yet to score here in the second half with 17:27 remaining. Lewis sends it top side here for Brad Miller. Deifel working into the painted area, floats up a left-handed shot, gets a friendly roll.
Great shot by Nick. Great drive.
Nick Deifel finally with an opportunity for Christian Brothers. Gets it to fall through. Wire has the ball go off of his hands, out of bounds through the baseline. This will be a turnover, and CBU gets possession. It is Mays inbounding the ball. Miller, along with Darrell Lewis, Nick Deifel, and Josh Jackson on the floor for CBU. Lewis with a nice crossover to lose Bradshaw for a moment and get the ball safely across the half-court line. 17:02 left as Miller comes to the basketball. Feeds for Nick Deifel on top of the CBU logo, right side of the arc. Now to the left side for Darrell Lewis. Lewis guarded by Bradshaw at 6'7". They send it to the right side of the arc for Deifel. Deifel bouncing into the lane once again, this time the duck-in pass, and Josh Jackson with the finish.
Very nice, very nice.
Same man, more experience. Jackson
Exactly.
with a little bit more security on the basketball this time, and feeds it up and in. 51-38. CBU in their defensive shell now guarding the basketball in the hands of Dylan Penn. Penn sends it for Pedro Jackson. Feeds it back outside. Around the horn from Cook. Over to the left side for Wire. Wire drops it off for Dylan Penn. Penn going down the lane. Penn to the left hand. Pretty much unstopped going down the left side and laying for two.
He's a player.
Dylan Penn only at 6'3", but showing himself to be very capable of driving the basketball without fear.
But no underneath help defense on that play, and it was an open layup for him.
It's a one-on-one opportunity, and he took it. 16:02 to play here in the second half. CBU down 53-38. Mays will swing to the right side, and now a foul away from the basketball. This will be a foul on Alex Cook with 15:56 to play here in the second half. We'll get timeout, mercifully, for Christian Brothers. Down 53-38 against Bellarmine with 15:56 to play. Back with more on the CBU Bucks Live Network in a moment. Out of the timeout with 15:56 to play. Christian Brothers down 53-38. Brad Miller will inbound for Mitchell Mays. Mays, the fadeaway shot. Oh, a sweet look from Mitchell Mays.
Beauty.
Right down the pipe from about 10 feet out, straight away in the lane. And CBU reaches 40. They're down by 13 to the number 1 team in the country, Bellarmine University, who will rise up to the Division I level next year. Around the horn, swung the basketball into the hands of Parker Chitty. Chitty drops it off for Alex Cook, driving left side. The 6'7" Cook might have gotten away with a walk there, kicks it back outside. Chitty reins in the 3 from the right side. Tough break for CBU.
Really tough break.
Looked as though they might have gotten away with a walk there by Alex Cook. 15-15 remaining as Lewis comes up the floor with the ball, slaloming left to right. This is Brad Miller on top of the Buccaneer logo, just inside half court. Feeds for Nick Deifel over to the right side. And now a foul away from the basketball, an offensive foul called on Joshua Jackson. Didn't see it?
I didn't see it. Did not see it.
But it's a turnover. Ben Wire will check in. Alex Cook will check out. Nice to be able to run 2 guys, both scoring 15.1 points per game, interchangeably into your rotation.
What's impressive to me, Tyler, also is the fact they can run so many guys in, and they're still in sync. You know, you think when you're bringing that many guys in and out, that you can get out of sync, but they're not out of sync at all.
Hard to get cohesion in a 10-deep rotation. Inside, Dylan Penn, high off the window. He's got moves, nifty ones, elevating ones, and ones that get him buckets.
Probably the way you played in your younger days, right?
That's the way I wanted to play, I'll tell you that much. 18-point lead for Bellarmine, 58-40. Jackson outside the arc, sends it to right side for Nick Deifel. Coming to the top is Brad Miller, no room to shoot. Miller, given no fly room, drops it off in the corner, gets it back. Here's his 3. Brad Miller for 3, knocks it down.
Great shot by Brad, great shot.
Great patience by Miller, able to knock that one down after getting free behind a screen. Lead is back to 15, 14:08 to play in the second half. On the drive, Claycomb inside, kicks it back outside. Here's Wire. Wire called for steps going to the cup. Ben Wire, 18 threes to lead Bellarmine this season, most on the team. This evening, Bellarmine has only made 4 of 8 from three-point land. They don't shoot the 3 ball that often, but they are clearly looking like a team that is capable when they do. Lewis, guarded by Penn, going across the timeline. Williams calls for help from Lewis. Lewis comes to the basketball. Sent over to the far side. Jackson now to Deifel. Deifel gives it back for Brad Miller, and now a foul coming. This is going to be an offensive foul on Mitchell Mays. I don't know how Mays, with his belly to the deck, is the one that gets called for the offensive foul. Nonetheless, it goes against CBU.
Disbelief.
Yeah. I think Coach John T. Riley was about as curious as we were about that one.
Yeah, we are. Exactly. He wants a clarification from the referee. What happened there?
15-point lead for Bellarmine as they get the ball into the front court from the hands of Kobe Penny. Fed to the goal. Up and in from Claycomb on the pseudo alley-oop.
Exactly.
Caught in midair and laid in off the backboard. Brad Miller into the front court as Bellarmine wins the race to 60 this evening. They lead it 60-43. Lewis swings it right side for Miller, who just knocked down a 3. Deifel from the top, pointing inside. Miller for 3. He's hot. He's got 2 in a row.
They're giving Miller open shots. He'll take them, and that's good.
14-point game once again. Brad Miller's going to have to keep making those 3s to keep his side in it. Claycomb kicks the corner. On the drive, Chitty inside. And the bounce play for Penny. Penny cutting to the rim, lays it up for 2.
That's a pretty move.
Basket cuts have really bitten this CBU side this evening.
Sure have.
With 12:49 remaining, they trail at 62-46. Into the front court from the hands of Darrell Lewis, it goes to Nick Deifel. On the right side, Nick Deifel passes the top. Lewis on the right wing, driving inside, kicking on the move. There's Miller behind the screen. Tees up his 3rd 3. Brad Miller. Don't let him touch it again. Somebody stop this man. 62-49. Miller's got 3 trays in a row. 12:25 remaining in the game. Bellarmine within shouting distance.
It's only 13. That's always good.
CBU trying to stick on D. Penn kicks it outside for Parker Chitty with 14 on the shot clock. Bellarmine wants a different look. Wire, bounce pass in the backdoor cut. Kobe Penny, same play, same result. Boy, oh boy.
Those backdoor cuts are just, they're killing us.
They are absolutely slicing CBU to pieces.
It's incredible.
12 minutes remaining in the contest. And if CBU gives up another backdoor cut, I might eat my shorts. 64-49. Deifel comes with it. Could this be a fourth Brad Miller three? They're trying not to let him get free. Parker Chitty is on him like white on rice. Mays kicks it back outside. Lewis for three? No. Nick Deifel trying for the tap in and a foul on the floor inside. Is this going to go on CBU or on Bellarmine? This is going to go against Bellarmine.
Okay.
So CBU will have, I think, perhaps free throw opportunities coming back when we return out of this timeout, or at the very least, possession of the basketball beneath the goal. 64-49 the lead from the number one Bellarmine Knights over CBU. Christian Brothers Buccaneers, though, still fighting it out on behalf of first-year head coach John T. Riley. Back with more from the Canale Arena in a moment on CBU Bucks Live. Out of the timeout with 11:41 to play, the number one ranked Bellarmine Knights lead Christian Brothers 64-49. CBU on this night is shooting 57% from the floor. They are 10 of 17 from three-point range, 58%, but they are still down 64-49 to the number one team in the country. That's why Bellarmine is number one. Alongside Dr. John Smorelli, I'm Tyler Springs. Brad Miller gets the basketball right corner, bouncing inside. Here's Jarrett Gassett, putting it up for two, won't go, but on the rebound, he will be fouled. And this will be perhaps an opportunity for shots for Jarrett Gassett with the free throw strike. This is Jarrett Gassett, Memphis' own. Transfer graduate student from Claflin University. First shot, off target, right side. A game where neither side has had a terrible number of free throw attempts. CBU is 10 of 17. Bellarmine is 10 of 12. Gassett's second, knocks it down. And CBU clears the half-century mark. 11:30 to play here inside Canale Arena in Memphis. Justin Betts feeds to the top of the key. On the backdoor cut, there's the trailer. Betts almost laid it in, but he missed it.
He missed one.
Mikhail Watkins up with it for Christian Brothers to Nick Deifel over on the left side. They'll tee up Watkins for three. They're going to call an offensive foul, I think, on Nick Deifel here, or will it be a block? It'll be a block on Justin Betts. Deifel gets a break. 14-point game with 11:16 remaining. CBU led this contest early.
Yeah,
They were up
by
17-9.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
At the 11:49 mark in the first half, almost where we are now. And now they find themselves down by 14. It's a swing of 23 points. Miller, left side, with Betts in his face, puts the ball on the deck. Miller trying to jostle inside, and now he's fouled from behind by Ben Wire.
Yeah, that's just frustration on part of Miller. Miller wanted something to happen off that offensive series, and nothing happened.
That should be clear. Wire was fouled by Miller.
Yes.
After picking up the ball, which Miller set loose on the deck.
Too many fours. We got a 4 and a 4 and a 4, so it's a...
Ben Wire wearing number 4, Brad Miller wearing number 44. They pass it ahead for Bradshaw. CBU defense wasn't quite set. Now they are. Wire feeds left side for Cook. Cook for Fleming. Now Wire. From the left side, guarded by Mitchell Mays. Gets the ball across to Cook. Shoots for three. This one's off target. And the rebound underneath.
Over the back.
And over the back foul on Ben Wire going for the board. Ben Wire shakes his head back and forth to indicate disagreement. 10:45 to play. CBU on floor with Mikhail Watkins, along with Mitchell Mays, Brad Miller, Nick Deifel, and Jarrett Gassett.
Looks like they're putting a little full court press on here.
They certainly are. Pedro Bradshaw at 6'7" is guarding the barely 6 foot Mikhail Watkins. Watkins able to dribble it and get loose.
Beautiful
Gassett on the
pass.
inside pass,
Beautiful
lays
pass.
it up for 2. Jared Gassett got the seal and a great find on Mikhail Watkins. 12-point game, 64-52. CBU fighting for their lives against the number 1 team in the country. On the rebound at the attempt from Meyer from the right side.
Whoa.
That second one won't go. Rebound taken in by Brad Miller of Christian Brothers. Here come the Bucks. Down the left sideline goes Nick Deifel. Deifel outside the arc will zip it back up to the top for Mikhail Watkins. Watkins, the diminutive point guard, worked on by Pedro Bradshaw. Over on the left side. Given away for Deifel. Here's Brad Miller. Miller sends it back for Deifel. Deifel with 8 on the clock, feeds it away for Mitchell Mays. Miller behind the screen. Miller tees up a 3. This one's off back iron. Rebound fought for. It's knocked off the leg of Cook, and Cook eventually pulls it in.
Well, that's disappointing. That could have put us in within 9, which is
Would have been a lot closer.
Yeah, exactly.
Dylan Penn on the
That's it.
turnaround at the other
Yeah.
end, quickly put in on the hook shot. He's got quite the post game for a guy who's registered as a guard officially in our program. 6'3", but he looks like he's a guy who can back down against anybody in a pickup game for the rest of his life.
You got that.
9:25
There you
remaining,
go.
and
This
here's
is
Penn
good.
on the steal.
He's going to dunk
Breakaway
it. He's gonna-
rim,
Yep, we know where he's gonna
two-hand
go.
jam. 9:19 to play, and it looks like Bellarmine is starting to take control here with a 16-point lead.
We had our chance, down 12, 3-point shot with the ball, and cut it below what we were down at half, but they just put together a few more.
Back-to-back possessions. CBU gave the ball up to Dylan Penn. Gassett going to the rim, partly blocked. Mays on the opposite side on the weak side of rebound. No, and the rebound will stay with CBU. Wire will get a rest. Checking in, Chris Palambizio for the first time in the second half. 16-point game, 20 seconds on the shot clock for CBU. They'll inbound right side of the goal. Inside to Gassett, goes off of Gassett's hands. Oh boy.
That's
And
frustrating.
There's no time you get more frustrated as a coach than that right there. Carelessness.
Every possession's crucial. Every possession's crucial here.
8:57 to go here inside Canale Arena. Buccaneers down 68-52. Bellarmine will send it over to the left side for Alex Cook. Fed inside, the spin move to the rim, blocked
Good
by
block
Mitchell
by
Mays, and the
Mitchell
help
Mays.
defense as Gassett was working on him.
Finally, some help defense inside. That's
Gassett
good to
looking for
see.
some help.
Good to see.
We'll get it up floor with Darrell Lewis. Miller, left side, guarded by Fleming. Now Lewis, one-on-one against Dylan Penn. Lobbed inside for Mitchell Mays. Going to go on the back down against Cook. Kicks it back outside, swung around the horn. Deifel dribbling in and attacking, slashing to the cup, and an offensive foul.
Here's your offensive that you wanted to call before on Deifel. There it is.
8:15 to go. Here inside Canale Arena.
You know, it's unfortunate that the student body is sort of on Christmas break because it'd be great for them to be here and in a time just to cheer on the Buccaneers when we've made some runs. So it makes it tough with in a quieter arena to hold on against a team like Bellarmine.
Not as much juice tonight.
There's not much juice in the arena, and you need the juice. You need everything going in a night like tonight.
CBU women's basketball team is here. They played just prior to this
Yeah.
game against Henderson State, so they are at least down at one end.
And it's great to see and actually some volleyball players that the athletes do support each other at this university, and that's kind of nice to see.
Ball skipped out of the right side in the hands of Parker Chitty. Chitty sends it left side now. Ethan Claycomb feeds for Penn. Penn driving in, floats it up from the lane. This one won't go, but he'll draw the foul shots. Timeout on the floor with 7:52 remaining here inside Canale Arena. Christian Brothers trails Bellarmine 68-52 on CBU Bucks Live. We're back in a moment. Out of the timeout, the Christian Brothers Buccaneers trailing Bellarmine 68-52 with 7:52 remaining here inside Canale Arena. Alongside Dr. John Morelli, I'm Tyler Springs on CBU Bucks Live. Going to the free throw line is Dylan Penn right here, the guard for Bellarmine University, the #1 team in the country in the Division II ranks. Steps to the free throw line with 17 points to lead all scorers this evening. Penn's first attempt, southpaw shot stroked.
Yep. I just look at the stats, and one stat that really sticks out is 19 turnovers for CBU. Get 19 turnovers against a team like this, it's could make for a longer night than you'd like.
And 28 Bellarmine points off those 19 turnovers as well.
That's the game right there.
Penn makes both, 70-52 the lead right now for Bellarmine over CBU. Bounce pass along the left wing, gets to Darrell Lewis from Brad Miller. Here's Nick Deifel in the front court at the center. Deifel closely guarded by Parker Chitty. Sends it away for Darrell Lewis. Lewis has been quiet in the second half after playing a key role in the first half. Lewis has 15. 9 seconds on the shot clock as Deifel stops his dribble, top of the key. Gets it to Miller. Miller digs in. Miller puts up the floater from the left side. No. Rebound by Nick Deifel. And a fresh 20 on the clock this time for CBU. 5 fouls so far each side. Possession arrow currently favoring CBU. The Buccaneers have it. They send it left side for Miller. Miller with 11 on the shot clock going to the right side. And a foul called as Mitchell Mays is sent to the deck on a forearm shiver called against Chris Palambizio for Bellarmine University. Miller will inbound from the left side of the goal for CBU. Here's Darrell Lewis trying to bounce inside, and now a foul called, I believe, on Dylan Penn. It'll go again against Chris Palambizio, who's having a little trouble there on the defensive end.
Exactly.
And this will be Josh Jackson to the free throw line. Jackson is the best free throw shooter on the team, 15 of 20 this year. Leader in free throws made and free throws attempted. First one, rims out. On a night like this where you need it to go right, goes wrong.
Exactly. When a 75% shooter is your lead free throw shooter, that's got to be some work in that area too, I'm sure.
7 minutes to play. Ball fed around the left side of the arc for Alex Cook. Cook backing down Nick Deifel. He's got 4 inches on him. Kicks it to the other side. Claycomb back outside, down the line, drive, swatted away by Darrell Lewis from behind, and he picks off the steal as well. Lewis in transition is picked from behind similarly by Parker Chitty. Bellarmine is not going to let that go.
Exactly.
6:43 remaining. And now a sub oncoming, multiple subs oncoming. Bradshaw and Wire both oncoming, 6'7" each. And then Fleming at a mere 6'2" checks in.
I think their coaches have a dress code, don't you think? Yes.
Perhaps. 70-52, inbounded for Joshua Jackson. Kicks it back outside. This is Miller from the left wing. Passes top side for Deifel, guarded by Dylan Penn. Deifel gives it back to Miller. Miller has made 3 3-pointers here in the second half. Lewis on the deck, gonna back down Penn. Around the screen comes Deifel. 7 seconds on the clock. Deifel fires away. Nick Deifel from 30 feet. Holy cow.
Wow, great shot by Nick. Great shot by Nick.
15-point game, 6:15 to go. CBU not ready to turn the lights out yet. Lob to the rim, laid up, and off the mark by Alex Cook. They went for, again, the pseudo alley-oop, but Cook couldn't put it home. Well, they're trying to go back to Nick Deifel on this possession. He was sure-handed last time. Deifel runs to the top. Miller will send it his way. Deifel against Bradshaw, gives it up for Lewis. Lewis bouncing inside for Josh Jackson. Jackson draws a double spin move to the rim, and it rolls off the side of the cup. Unkind.
That's disappointing. Great move, great shot it looked like, and just rolled out.
Bellarmine back down floor. Cook's going to pull his way in. Not going to be denied here, but he's called for steps. Back-to-back possessions where there's no satisfaction for Alex Cook.
Exactly.
Rare but a reality right now. 5:36 to play here in the second half. CBU down 70-55. In a game where the Bucks have felt a lot closer at times than 15 points, even though the scoreboard might say otherwise. Buccaneers have the ball in hand. Darrell Lewis carrying up court. 15 points for Lewis. Has been less of a factor here in the second half, though. 6 of 8 from the field. Sent to the right side for Nick Deifel. Deifel gives to Lewis coming around the screen. Lewis bouncing inside for Jackson with the easy duck-in pass and the move to the rim. 70-57.
This team's certainly not intimidated by this Bellarmine team.
Layup, good. Again, the cut to the rim. It's easy when you've got about 18 different guys who are 6'7". You can just do a rim run, and that time it goes to Claycomb for a 72-57 lead. CBU not quite afforded as much height as this Bellarmine team. Bellarmine has every player in their rotation over 6 feet tall, 9 players over 6'4". 4:43 remaining. Deifel gets it right side. Mitch Mays will step into a three. Mitch Mays knocks it down. This Christian Brothers team has been unconscious tonight from three-point land, and it still might not be enough. Wire down floor, drops it off for Bradshaw for Bellarmine. Now back to Wire over on the left side. And through a screen comes C.J. Fleming. Brad Miller will help him up with 4:26 to play. It's a foul called, I believe, against Joshua Jackson. And for Jackson, that is 5 fouls. He is disqualified. Tough loss, brought some good size to the painted area for CBU.
Certainly played well tonight. Certainly played very, very well.
I should say 72-60. Jacob Lyons will check in for Bellarmine. 4:26 remaining. CBU's Josh Jackson has fouled out with 4 points. (72-60). .426 remaining here inside Canale Arena, and they will inbound the basketball. Claycomb to the rim, lays it up and lays it in.
He's still arguing it.
And still Scott Davenport is arguing with the near side referee along the sideline. And now his players are trying to get the coach to sit down. Claycomb to the free throw line, where Ethan Claycomb this season is 6 of 8 at the free throw line. And they're going to let Scott Davenport have his say.
Yeah, they're certainly giving him a lot of leeway here. I'm thinking here.
Claycomb's free throw is good. Lewis up floor for CBU with 4:18 to play. Here's Brad Miller handling top side for the Buccaneers. Miller lost the handle, and now a foul by Pedro Bradford over on the right sideline. Bradford, the transfer from Belmont by way of Eastern Kentucky, now finding a solid role here at the Division II level. Bradford, or I should say Bradshaw, averaging 10 points per game this season, one of 4 players in the starting rotation in double figures. Here's Brad Miller to the free throw line. Bradshaw with 10 points tonight, by the way, in case you were wondering. Dylan Penn with 17 to lead Bellarmine. And Alex Cook has 16. So 3 players in double figures, 3 as well for CBU. Darrell Lewis, one of them at 15. Nick Deifel, one of them at 14. Brad Miller, the third, at 12. Here's Miller at the free throw line for the first time all night. Miller bounces, lets fly, hits.
Beautiful.
So Brad Miller was tied coming into this game with the most free throws made on the team with Joshua Jackson.
Okay.
Miller, you'll be happy to know, is now 16 of 17 on his free throws this year. So
excellent. Okay, that's
some good free throw shooting.
And then he misses
Second free throw missed.
Then he just misses it.
Nick Deifel looking for the rebound, tried to tap it back, and it's taken by Bradshaw.
A 14-point game is not out of reach, but you've got to have some good things going your way.
Wire on the right block, kicks it back outside. Claycomb spinning in against Jacob Lyons. Claycomb a little more agile and spins his way to the rim. 77-61. Lewis working up floor against the Bellarmine side that has been an incredible challenge tonight for CBU, but one that CBU has answered the bell for.
They have not panicked, and credit to them.
Deifel looking for help. Here's Lewis over on the left side. Mitchell Mays, low block, looking to post up. Here comes the double, kicks it back outside for Miller. 6 seconds on the clock. Lyons inside, lost the handle, 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Got to put up a shot quickly, and they do not get it off.
Nope.
3:12 to play here inside Canale Arena. We'll have timeout on the floor. 77-61, the lead right now for the Bellarmine Knights over CBU. Back with more in a moment on the CBU Bucks Live Network. Out of the timeout with 3:12 to play. 77-61 at Canale Arena. Number one Bellarmine leads CBU with 3:08 to go by 16 points. This is Ethan Claycomb from the top handling for CBU, or rather handling for Bellarmine. Little spin move against Jacob Lyons going into the paint on the left side. Might have gotten away with a walk there. In fact, he did not get away with it. The call is made, and it is a turnover by Bellarmine. For Bellarmine this evening, they have given the ball away just 10 times tonight. CBU has double that many, 20.
Exactly.
And that has hurt the Bucks this evening. Brad Miller handling for CBU. Over on the left side is Darrell Lewis now, trying to get the slip screen going for Jacob Lyons. Dropped off outside the arc. Mitchell Mays for three. This one's off target. CBU 12 of 20 tonight on their threes, now 12 of 21, shooting close to 60%, and they're still going to go down by almost 20 points.
Incredible, incredible. That's double the normal amount of three-pointers that they'll make in a typical game, yet they're still down by 20, as you said.
2:20 remaining as Cook drives in from the left side, working on I should say Darrell Lewis. They'll call the foul this time, in fact, on Nick Deifel for impeding progress to the rim by Alex Cook. .218 remaining as Cook goes to the free throw line. 6 for 6 on his free throws today. Rattles this one home. 7 for 7. Alex Cook has missed 2 free throws all year, and he has not missed tonight. 2 dribbles for Cook. Pounds the deck, raises, fires, hits. Up floor comes Brad Miller for the CBU Buccaneers. The men in white not quite ready to wave the white flag. Deifel feeds right side for Lewis. Lewis, a little shifty shuffle move, kicks to the left corner. Intended for Brad Miller, knocked out a play before it gets there, crossing a traffic lane.
Impressive. They just keep shuffling players in and out. It's incredible.
And it's not just players, it's 6'7" players.
Exactly.
Really nice to have that luxury at your disposal. Inside pass, Darrell Lewis trying to put up a quick shot this time. It is knocked away, and up with it comes Justin Betts off the bench. Bradshaw will feed over to the left side for Penny. Around the horn it goes. Palambezio now. Betts back to Bradshaw at the top. Quickly working around the semicircle. Bradshaw dribbling in, feeds the cut to the basket, and challenge there is Kobe Penny, but on the backside, the rebound and the lay-in by Ethan Claycomb. 1:36 to play, 81-61, as Bellarmine is closing in on their season average of 87. Mitch Mays, bounce pass to Brad Miller on the back door. Say what you will for CBU. They have put as much into this evening as we've seen them play this night for a 500 team.
Exactly.
They look much better than that. Palambezio. Face up on Lyons. Banging into him, lowering the left shoulder, has it taken away from the backside by Mitch Mays. Mays in the break. Mays going to lay it up and is blocked by Kobe Penny, getting way up on the ladder. If you'd asked before the game whether Kobe Penny blocks Mitchell Mays, I would have told you there is no way.
What are this? There's a significant difference in height there. If you're 7 inches.
Kobe Penny, to wit,
yes,
is precisely listed at 6 feet tall.
There you go. Amazing.
6 inches shorter than
go.
Mitchell Mays.
That
was some play.
He got that one cleanly.
If you're not big, you're going to be a small athlete on this team.
Exactly.
Inbounded with 52 seconds to play. Miller, back and forth dribble, trying to work past Betts. Miller feeds for Deifel. Deifel with a man right up on him. Deifel going baseline, right side, looking for the reverse lane, switching hands, not there. Bradshaw with the denial on the backside and the collection on the rebound. 34 seconds remaining. Bradshaw will feed to the top for Betts. Bellarmine can do whatever they want now offensively. Penny stops in the middle of the lane. Underneath, Palambizio up, no. Rebound, knocked around by Darrell Lewis, trying to save it. Darrell Lewis is all elbows and knees in there.
Exactly.
Trying to save it as best he could, but I think it eventually goes out of bounds off of CBU.
Well, give the Bucks credit. Down 18 and still hustling, diving after balls. It's very, very, very good.
They are playing like a well-drilled team
They
under
are.
first-year head coach John T. Riley. 81-63 with 15 seconds remaining, and I don't think Bellarmine's going to shoot once again. So CBU held them under their season average of 87.
Okay, that's a positive.
And CBU got to their average of 63. So there's something to be said for that tonight, even though you don't love moral victories.
Yes, exactly.
Final score here from Canale Arena. CBU falls to number 1 Bellarmine, 81-63. And CBU drops to 5-6 on the year. They will play again coming up at Lee on Saturday, December the 21st at 3 p.m. They'll also stay on the road for the game after that against University of Alabama Huntsville back on Saturday, January the 4th. And they return home on Monday, January the 6th for a 7 o'clock game against Lane College. Final thoughts from you, Dr. John Smirelli, on this number 1 Bellarmine team and the loss, or the game tonight, I should say.
Again, credit to CBU. They continued to play hard. They didn't panic throughout the whole game. And the 3 points kept them in the game. The number of turnovers took them out of the game. But Bellarmine's just a very, very good team. Now we're going to conference play, mainly conference play from now on, and I think that's where you make your mark as a team. We grow as a team, and I think Coach Riley has got them playing solid. They're playing solid basketball, so we'll see what happens here. I think it's an opportunity, I think, to take today and use it as a building opportunity going forward.
I don't know how many teams are going to challenge you the way Bellarmine challenged them this evening, but that is quite the litmus test. And, I can't say they passed since they won, but in terms of effort, in terms of hustle, they played it to a T, to the hill.
They certainly did. They were very, very impressive. I'm very proud of the CBU team. They played hard tonight.
CBU drops to 5-6 on the season. Bellarmine improves to 8-0. They will likely remain number 1 in the Division II rankings throughout the week. This is a team, remember, that lost only by 10 points to Notre Dame and to Louisville, both by 10 points each, and they're going to Division I next year. So this is a team that is a great team to prepare against as you go into conference play if you are John T. Riley and the Buccaneers.
Exactly.
Leading scorers tonight, Brad Miller with 15 points and Darrell Lewis with 15 as well. Nick Deifel chipped in with 14, and the leaders for the visiting Bellarmine Knights, Dylan Penn with 19, Alex Cook with 18, and Pedro Bradshaw coming away with 10. The Bucks shot 51% from the field, 57% from 3. They made 12 threes, and they still lost the game because Bellarmine shot 64% from the field and 4 of 9 from three-point range, not to mention 15 of 17 on their free throw attempts. So it goes this evening from Canale Arena. We say so long to you. Thanks for tuning us in on CBU Bucks Live. I'm Tyler Springs, saying so long and good night from Midtown as the Buccaneers fall 81-63 to Bellarmine. Join us again at home when the Bucks return. The men come back on January the 6th at 7 o'clock against Lane College.